Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror film and they discuss it. Today we're talking about 1988's Phantasm 2, which was directed by Don Coscarelli. I'm your co-host Alec.
I'm Dennis. Just kidding. I'm Erik. I just like the name Dennis.
Who's Dennis?
I don't know. Alec, do you know any Dennises?
A contractor at my grandparents' house name was Dennis like 25 years ago.
I don't know any Dennises. I don't know any Dennises. And I'm like,
Yes you do. Dennis Bianchi, the police officer from Avon.
Don't recall.
He had like the mustache that looked like a tarantula because it was like handlebar mustache that was white at the bottoms. His name was Dennis.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I avoided the cops as much as I could back then.
I thought he worked at the high school, man. I thought he was one of those guys, too. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm Erik. I'm not Dennis, but Dennis is a great name. Great name. Sorry.
I was like, Jesus, is Dennis even a character in the movie? I'm like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
Okay.
I just came to my head.
Anyways, so we're talking Phantasm 2 today. And, we covered Phantasm 1 at least a year ago.
2 years ago, 2020. And it was not our October wheel, but like our winter wheel.
Okay, so it's pretty close after that. Yeah. And we both liked that one, right? You liked the first one, right?
Yeah, I remember a coworker recommended it. We were at a wedding, and he was talking to me like, I love that you guys started a podcast, this and that. And he's just like, you guys should do Phantasm. I'm like, right. I've never even heard of this. And I mean, I remember us doing that podcast. I remember the first one feeling like such a fever dream. And the ending's just so bizarre, but I remember us both liking it. Like, we didn't hate it.
No, I love the first one. My mom showed it to me when I was very young, and it always stuck with me just because I liked that it was a young kid, and I was like, I'm a young kid, he's a young kid, like, it's scary.
I haven't even heard of Phantasm until 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that just really went under the radar, and it should have gotten more recognition, but I don't know. There's a lot to talk about though, because there's 5 of them. And it took us a while to get to this one. It took us like 2 years.
Yeah, want to go over that real quick. The first one, which we did in 2020, came out in 1979. This one that we're doing now, Phantasm 2, came out in 1988. So literally 10 years later, pretty much. The third one, 1994. Okay. The fourth one, 1998. Not as far of a distance there. The fifth one, 2016.
Yeah.
Wild. What a spread out series. It's insane.
Yeah, it's almost 50 years pretty much. And I had heard that the reason that they didn't want to make the second one, it was actually the director. He was like, I don't know, I thought it was pretty well tied up.
Like one and done. Yeah.
He didn't want to do anymore, which is weird because he wasn't really working much after that. So I don't know.
Well, I'll say this: the first one, 1979, budget was $300,000. Which is a lot back in 79. It made $22 million.
Yeah. So it's insane that they didn't do something or force him or be like, listen, we'll buy the rights or something. But yeah,
I'm sure it was all conversation. He probably was just like thinking about it for years. It was probably a tough movie. It's well shot. The first one's well shot. Say what you want. It's well shot. The second one is also well shot. But I'll say this. So the first one, $300,000 budget. This one, the second one, $3 million budget.
Yeah, 10 times.
That's 10 times. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It only made $7.3 million. So it's like, oh, okay, let's dial it back. Let's dial it back next time.
Well, I watched a couple like behind the scenes stuff about this, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like, because I don't know if you noticed, like most of the actors were the same except for the Mike, the main kid or whatever.
Yeah, they showed a flashback of him, but like, yeah, I mean,
so apparently. This is what the Universal said. They're like, we're going to produce this. We're going to give you a lot of money, Don Coscarelli. We're going to give you freedom. You can write, direct, do what you want. But you cannot have both of those guys back. You can't have Reggie and Mike. You can choose one, but we want a big actor. Or like at least an actor that's recognizable at the time in a role. So you got a choice. And he went with Reggie over Mike. And people were pissed.
Picking Reggie over Mike, I think was smart.
Yeah, I do too. Why do you think that, though?
I mean, well, I'll say this too. In the third one, don't they bring the original back? So that's something you don't see. That's insane.
Back then, especially, like the audience was so pissed off that it actually, it's, like nowadays they have like the Sonic the Hedgehog thing where people are like, he looks weird, and they like change it. But this was like in the 80s.
You know what it reminded me of? Two things it kind of reminds me of is kind of like Edward Furlong in Terminator 2, and then switching to the other actor in Terminator 3. Yeah. Like, why didn't you get Edward Furlong? We know that answer. Not going to go there. This one, they went with a different actor as well. But the other movie that reminds me of it is Star Wars, the prequels. They had Jake Lloyd, who was young, and then they could have probably kept with him, but they just said, like, we just want someone older looking, and like kids are cute, right? They age a certain way, they look a certain way. Like Mike going from what he was, like a skinny, kind of scrawny kid, to that, I was like, that doesn't feel like that's right.
Dude, I think this would have made way more sense than Star Wars. Star Wars, because it was supposed to be a 10-year gap between episodes 1 and 2. So to have Jake Lloyd, who would only have aged 3 years, like, that would not have worked.
Pushing 4. I mean, yeah, filming it must have been, like, within 2 years. Right?
It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
He would have been 12 years old playing, like, an 18-year-old. Yeah. Yep. But this movie, that was stupid. I think, because, like, clearly the fans are the reason this movie is going to be successful, and if they're mad at it, whatever. That's not enough. Like, the movie's fine on its own. Like, that's not enough to ruin it, but you're kind of like, hey, where's that guy? I like that guy.
Well, yeah, but then 6 years later, you hear about this third one coming out, and it's like, do you hear what the third one is doing? It's bringing back, like, OG Mike. OG Mike? Are you kidding me?
I know.
I kind of want to see that one. I have no idea the box office, but I'm assuming it's like I know the budget. It's $2.5 million. So they went from the $3 million budget to the second one to like, hey, we made our money back plus. Yeah. Let's just give you a little less money for this budget and see if we make more money. I have no idea what that movie made. I tried to Google it. I couldn't find what the third one made.
I think 3, 4, and 5, I'm pretty sure are all straight to DVD. I'm pretty sure. Or straight to VHS and stuff like that and streaming. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, 1994 must have been like VHS big time.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Maybe Laserdisc
or limited release, but still 2.5 million to make.
Yeah, so I don't know. They must have thought they were going to make it back. Maybe they did. I actually don't know. But let's talk about this movie, the second one.
Yes. Sorry. Just overview of this movie.
Yeah. So let's go back to the beginning of the first of this film. So like, it basically gives you a little bit of a recap of what happened. But I actually loved how it starts. You get. First of all, actually, the title card was awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, you can feel the budget in this one.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
That was like the first thing. They're just like, Phantasm. Like, dude. It was like, okay. They got money now. So then anyway, so it goes into this girl, Liz, and she's basically like in, I don't know, I guess a room. And she's been having visions for the past like 6 years or whatever it's been. And knows the whole story about the tall man and Mike and Reggie and all this stuff. And she's been writing a journal about it, and she's fallen in love with Mike from her visions or whatever. Did Mike, Mike has been in a mental asylum, which is kind of weird because you're like, wait, like the end of the first one is Reggie being like, come on, kid, like, let's go off somewhere. And it's like, actually, you're going to the asylum, like right in.
And don't forget, Reggie's an ice cream truck driver, right?
At this time, yeah, in the first movie, yeah. So Reggie's a 2-year-old ice cream truck driver. And then he's got Mike, who's like a 13-year-old kid. And the movie ends with them basically being like, let's go away together. But then the tall man captures Mike, basically. And yeah, and then Reggie goes on this like crazy sort of like around the house, like grabbing shotguns, grabbing bats, like trying to save Mike, ends up doing it, which was crazy, dude. That whole sequence of him like taking the bat and like smacking the little Jawa guy, and dude, it was
that, and then the gas and the blowing up the house. This movie is insane.
Yeah, so it kind of shows like what happens right after the end of the first one. So Mike gets captured, and then Reggie blows the whole house up. Like, which looked amazing, dude. I was like, that's a real house, because they're standing in front of it.
And they blow up a house later on in the movie, which
I know.
We can get into, but that definitely was the same shot, just a different angle.
You think so? Yeah,
oh,
probably. Yeah. I thought so too.
You're not blowing up 2 houses.
Well, they lit like half the fucking set on fire in this movie. But anyway, so this huge explosion, which I was like blown away by, it reminded me of like the Fugitive train crash. I was like, this looks fantastic.
It was good. It was actually impressive.
It was great. So you get to see the tall man, which, dude, when the tall man looks at the house and then looks back at the truck, reminded me of Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back when the Millennium Falcon gets away, but he thinks that like they disable the hyperdrive. Remember that part?
Oh yeah, of course. And he's just pissed off, and it's like, oh, no one talked to him right now.
Yeah,
no one talked to him.
That's what that scene reminded me of. He just looks at the blown up house, and he's like, God damn it, and then puts the coffin back in and drives away.
Did that really happen?
Yeah, like, God damn it. But that's what's so weird, though, is what happens after that then? Because then basically Reggie goes off and gets married and has like a kid or whatever or something, and Mike just goes to a mental asylum.
So this is the part of the movie where I got confused. I felt like I was missing things constantly. I think that all was a dream in quotations, right? The house blowing up and everything was a dream. Because isn't that how it kind of ends too? It's like it was just a dream with his brother dying or something in a car crash.
Yeah, they said that. Yeah.
So it's like it's very like, is this a dream or not? You know, coping with your brother's death kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but I got lost in it because it's like, all right, so cut to house blows up, they take off, and then it's like Mike in an asylum, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like it was all a dream. Reggie believes it too, right?
Yeah.
Reggie's like, this is all a dream, man. You're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? And then he meets up with him in a graveyard, like, and he knew exactly where he was going to be after leaving the asylum. He's like, I knew I'd find you here.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he's digging up bodies, and he's like, there's nothing in these graves. This graveyard's empty, which is a cool concept. That's a creative idea.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how is this? Wait. So wait, what? So does Reggie think it was a dream? Did Reggie actually blow up the house? But then it like catches up with where it was in the dream, because they go back to the house where like Reggie's family is, and the house blows up again.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I was thinking, like, if this isn't a dream, there has to be some sort of like investigation into Reggie, because I'm like, 2 houses have blown up in the past like 6 years in your life, and like your family's died. Like, I don't know. So I guess it is a dream then. I don't know.
But it's almost like a space-time continuum dream kind of going on. Like, was it a dream? Was it like an Inception dream kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like Donnie Darko kind of.
Yeah, it's very creative. It's very creative. I'll give it that. But how did Mike know? Like, wasn't it Liz talking to him, and all of a sudden he just like goes like, the house is gonna blow up out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no signaling. Like, what is he? How does he know that? It was
Right.
the tall man says like, "Welcome home, boy,"
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like, the house is gonna blow up, and then it just does like 2 seconds later.
Yeah, so he starts getting like way more psychic visions once I'm assuming once he leaves the asylum, because we don't see any time he spent there really. So Liz is communicating to him, the tall man's communicating to him, the tall man's communicating to Liz. So there's a reason Liz and Mike are connected, I guess. They have some sort of like psychic bond.
Like, that's it. That's all it is. There's no other like they're related. There's like
I hope not.
like the tall like. So can I ask, why does the tall man want her grandfather so badly? Like, why her? Like, was there an answer to that?
Dude, I don't know, because she says that too. She's like, once my grandfather dies, it becomes real. I was like, why? Like, why does that matter? Yeah. So that was really weird. If once Liz's grandfather died, I guess that's like when the tall man could come for her, maybe? Maybe like a family member of hers had to die. They never say this.
I wish there was an extra layer to that. Like, oh, her grandfather was like a super duper Nazi or something and killed thousands of people. So he's like a soul the tall man wants. I wish there was that, you know? There's none of that. It's just like this random girl Liz, his grandfather, who seems like a good guy. He's a nice wife, who seems like a nice grandma too.
Yeah.
Like, why this person? This movie, it made me feel like I was missing something every 5 seconds.
Yeah, they don't fill in some kind of essential things, like why Mike, why Liz, and Reggie just kind of feels like he's a guy that's like seen what's going on, and he's like, I can help you sort of thing, you know? But yeah, so basically where we picked off on our discussion was like,
house blows up, and then they go to a hardware store, and just like there's this like montage scene of them like building like quadruple shotguns and like sawing off stuff, which is like it's fucking hilarious. Watching him like run around with one of those headgear things when you're about to like Bunsen burn or something.
Headgear thing?
Mike, you know what is it like when you're gonna like solder something?
Oh yeah, like a mask.
He's like always like walking around with that. He just looked ridiculous, that actor.
Well, even before all of this though, like Reggie's family just got blown up, and then like a couple days later, it's just like, you want to come with me? He's like, eh.
Not even a couple days later, he's like, now I know what is going on. It's really like it was like instantly.
Yeah, I guess it's the motivation that forces Reggie to be like, all right, we got to do something about this. But, like, he didn't seem like he was emotionally affected by this at all. And then, of course, he gets, like, this fucking girl half his age, like, a couple days. No, you know what? It's months later. That's the other thing that's so weird, dude. This movie jumps so far ahead in the future for no reason.
Yeah.
They're like, this is going to take us 6 months. We got to get to the state line. It's like, why is that going to take you 6 months? Like, you drive the whole country and back like more than twice in 6 months.
Easily.
Yeah. What are they talking about?
You can drive cross country in 3 days.
Yeah.
If you do crystal meth, you got to do crystal meth to drive 3 days.
So what was taking them so long? Why did it have to take 6 months for them to? Nothing happened. So it's
maybe they had to work for gas.
Did they go? So what I'm thinking is they went from town to town just looking at graveyards, and they couldn't find the tall man until they finally like, I guess we'll go to the state line and he'll be there.
Yeah.
Or they got some message that told them where to go. It was like Perry Gord or something like that. There was something that made them know to go there. Oh, I remember. Don't they go into like this weird underground? They find a town that's like decimated, and they think the tall man's there, and they find Liz.
Well, this like Liz like tells them like go east or something, right?
Right.
To Paragord or some shit.
Yes, exactly. But Liz is like in there, but she has like a Freddy Krueger fucking like worm guy coming out of her back.
That was really cool.
But he was just weird, man. And also, I would never be like, we should split up. Like when you're in that place, like what the fuck are they talking about? Why did they split up? And then you see, Reggie goes one way, but the camera follows Mike. Mike goes into this room where there's just like a naked woman with her like guts cut open or whatever. He sees her, and then later they see her on the road, and he's like, yeah, she was in a dream or whatever. And it was just like, all right, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's going on. And then Liz's grandfather dies, and there's a whole scene with like an alcoholic priest that like knows what's going on or something. That's another layer to this.
Yes.
I'm just trying to quickly go through the synopsis so we can get into some more other random shit. So then, like, Liz's grandmother is captured, right, or something, by her grandfather who's been reanimated by the tall man.
Yep.
And then and then they all meet up. And then, yeah, you mentioned Reggie picked up this hitchhiker.
Alchemy? What the fuck?
Okay, let's say this real quick. I am... I'm pro a lot of things. I am anti-hitchhiking. I don't care how good looking they are. I don't care how rich they look. Don't pick up a hitchhiker, especially if their name's Alchemy.
Alchemy.
No. See ya. Roll up the window.
Every hitchhiking movie, it never ends well.
No, that's how Ted Bundy got people, right? Like, come on.
A bunch of ways, but yeah.
I mean, they had Zac Efron to play Ted Bundy. Like, that's not good.
Why? Because he's good looking?
Ted Bundy was good looking, and he I think he was like a hitchhiker kind of guy. Like he got people.
Probably.
Just no hitchhiking, people, please. If I give you any advice.
But this random gorgeous young girl is just like, hitchhike with you guys. Gets in the car with Mike and Reggie, and then is just part of the crew, basically.
Yeah, and then they go to the house, which is like empty but still has power somehow.
Oh, they go to it's like they're like, my uncle owns a bed and breakfast, so we'll go to that because the entire town is again decimated, so everything's closed except for this bed and breakfast, which is also closed but has power. But again, why would you want to stay there? Because then if the tall man is there, that's the only place with lights on. He's gonna go right there.
Yeah, it was wild. And then I don't even remember. He captures Liz from the house after a weird sex scene with Alchemy and Reggie.
We're not blowing past that. We're talking.
We're going in. All right. We're going to give that 2 minutes right here, everybody.
So basically, they find Liz. So we missed that. So they find Liz after her grandma dies. Like, she's running around trying to look for the tall man and Mike. She's looking for Mike because she knows Mike exists and she wants to find him. So they get together. They all go back to the bed and breakfast house. They set up shotguns and grenades and all this stuff on the windows.
Grenades in like a Budweiser can. Dude, I love this movie.
So dangerous. But anyways,
dude, that is like the quickest way to die. And imagine you just as you're tying it up, you pull the thing out.
He's like, oh fuck, and
this is over.
Yeah, so that was reckless. But anyways, so there's Alchemy, Liz, Reggie, and Mike, and they're all in there, and they're basically just like, hey, we should go upstairs. I'll take care of you. And then Reggie's like, I'll take care of you. And I'm just like, this is like, I don't like this. But so Mike and Liz go upstairs and they just go to sleep with their shoes on in the bed. But anyways, so they go to sleep and you're like, oh, okay. I thought they were going to hook up, but sure. Reggie and Alchemy start hooking up and you're just like watching this. You're like, this would never happen. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like, what? So they go upstairs, they start having really awkward sex, but the thing is, Reggie's not even the awkward one. Alchemy is weird as hell. That's right when I thought she was going to be evil right there. I was like, okay, she's bad, because, what is she doing? But it was just, super awkward. I don't know what was going on. She was, dry humping him with, a leopard underwear on, and she was, licking his bald head. It was, really weird.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the key. I want to know the demographic that loves Phantasm, and I bet, 80% of them are bald men.
Okay, that's another thing I was going to bring up. So I was like, man, it is a hard sell to have your lead have that bad of like balding nowadays. I feel like that would never happen right now. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I don't approve of that. I'm just like, man, it would be a hard sell for like any TV show, any movie right now to be like the lead actor has like the worst receding hairline you've ever seen.
I mean, good for him.
I think it's amazing.
It's a spectrum. It's like we're the only movie that has a lead bald guy, really.
I can't think of anything else. Like, there's like Larry David, but like that's comedy, right. And it's like he also created Seinfeld, and like, but this is like Reggie, the actor that played him, has done like nothing. So I'm just shocked that that like the studio was kind of okay. Isn't that a weird stigma though?
I don't know. I mean, this was 80s, so like I don't know. Like, what was big back then? Like
hair was big.
Armpit hair and bushes were in, and I don't know, maybe bald heads. And she says that, like, I love your head.
I know, yeah. She's like, I love bald heads.
Literally, like smacking his face into her breast, and like it was like, okay, what's going on? And then she's like, literally jumping on him like a trampoline. It
was very, but I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being bald. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just interesting that a guy that has like 0 acting credits can be the lead in a Universal film and have hair like that. I don't know. I just kind of thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you're an ice cream truck driver. You're bald. You're like, where are they supposed to? Oregon? Yeah, you're not. You know, dude, like picking up someone like Alchemy is like, this is a 1 in a million chances to ever. And you know what he does though? This is why you love him. Is because he hears a noise and he's like, get off me.
Yeah.
Like most people would be like, no, I don't care what's going on outside.
What was it? A grenade went off in the house. I know. I think he had to do something. But actually, speaking of the ice cream truck line, dude, that one line where Mike's like, you are a bald, middle-aged ex-ice cream truck driver, and I'm just a kid. I wish that Reggie was just like, you know what? Fuck you, Mike.
Hits him with the quad shotgun.
Yeah, he's like, seriously? Fuck you.
Bro, I love the quad shotgun too, by the way.
Yeah, that was so sick.
No, but yeah, seriously, like, imagine Reggie, like, all right, you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. Get out of the car.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, beats his ass with a 2x4.
He's like, I'm just a kid. He's like, you got a lot more problems than that, Mike. Okay.
Get out of the car.
But I just really wish there was a moment there where he's like, you know what? Now you've been running your mouth quite a bit, Mike. I'm really done. I'm really done.
Pretty much. All right, where were we? So Liz is captured again. Alchemy was humping him. And then they race after Liz, and then there's a great car chase scene, and the car explodes as if it has like 17 tanks of gas because that explosion was crazy.
Well, it flips too. It hits a rock and flips. Because, dude, okay, so the car chases after the tall man who's driving, which you're like, damn, Darth Vader's coming out for this mission. Shit, he didn't even send like his minions. He's doing this. So the tall man grabs Liz, puts her in the coffin, drives, and literally you see Reggie holding the quadruple barrel shotgun, and you're like, fucking shoot him. And even Mike's like, dude, what the fuck? And then they hit a rock and they flip, and it looks so good.
Yeah,
and then Reggie basically is like, he's like, just leave me, kid. He's like, nah, man, I got you. And they saves him before the car blows up. But yeah, let me ask you though, he captures Liz to do what? To bring her right back to his lair and then have somebody else kill her? Why did he even capture her?
I wish there was a layer to that, but I think based on like what the mortician was doing, which is like putting her in the infirmary, maybe like they weren't even going to use her body to reanimate. They were going to
cremate her. Yeah. So why did the tall man capture her? Why did he care?
Maybe it was part of his plan to get Mike and Reggie there. I have no idea.
But the thing that I thought was funny was like, so the tall man like grabs Liz and then like just chucks her in a hallway, and he's like, all right, and then walks away, and then the grandma Jawa comes over and gets her. And then she's like, sorry, grandma, and like hits her in the head with like a pot. And then the tall man's gone. You're like, all right, okay, guys, come on. You got to try a little bit here.
Yeah, and a bunch of other shit happens. There's a huge fight with all these like morticians with Reggie and Mike when they arrive at the crematorium or whatever. And then pretty much you see a scene where Reggie pours hydrochloric acid into the embalming fluid not embalming fluid, but the fluid that the tall man uses to reanimate people. Mm-hmm. He does that, and then they fight a bunch of minions and shit. And then guess what happens next?
Tall man dies.
No, not yet. But the ball is back. Have you seen the poster?
Yeah, there's like 3 balls this time. There's a gold ball.
No, but like, remember, have you looked at the poster? It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's Mike and what's her face in the ball.
Yeah, it says literally this summer the ball is back.
Yeah.
So once we get to here, we're 3/4 into the movie. We haven't seen a ball yet.
Mm-hmm. And dude, but then the balls come back full force.
Yeah, we got a gold ball, like you said. Like that's like a freaking Swiss Army knife.
Dude, the gold ball was sick because it drills into your body and then like expands with like all these like spikes or whatever, and then just shoots around inside of your body. Like that is fucked up.
Yeah, when they showed that guy with his like mouth, I was like, damn. That's insane.
And it's like the ball is inside of his body, picking him up and slamming him into the walls from inside his body. I was like, wow, that was pretty good.
Very creative again. But then we get like a bunch of scenes with the balls with the morticians. The morticians like get destroyed by the balls. But also we find out that the ball is the key to get into that like other dimension. Right?
Yeah.
So we see them do that and kind of go in there, and then like Reggie's like burning up inside. They pull him out. The tall man shows up, and then they hit him with the embalming fluid stuff, and it's like he starts like melting, and then there's like a penis that comes out of his head at one point.
Yeah,
like whatever that was, like an alien like mouth.
Yeah.
And then like Mike just like rips it out.
Yeah, it was like not even a threat.
Yeah, it was like he's just like get this off of me.
Yeah.
And then they just burn the place down, and then they're ratting off. Oh no, Alchemy's still there.
Alchemy, no, she goes and yeah.
Right. So they burn it down. They kill the tall man, quote, and then Alchemy shows up with the hearse. And it's like, you could have left me at any time, and you stuck around. And Reggie's like, I'm really, really fucking glad you stayed around. He's like so pumped. And it was like really crazy. He's like licking his lips in one scene.
Oh my god.
And yeah, he does if you look at it. And then Alchemy, like he like brushes her hair back, and she has like a no skull or whatever.
Yeah, you think everything's good, like Reggie and Alchemy are in the front of the hearse. They close the little window so you can't see. You're like, ooh, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, well, she's driving. I mean, like, pull over. I don't know. Like, hey, Mike, can you drive? We go in the back. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so you're like, what are they gonna do? And then she pulls off part of her head. You're like, oh, she's an alien monster. You think she kills Reggie, she like stabs him or something, and then he like is bloody and on the window like, help me. But he's the lead, I think, in the rest of them, so he's fine.
Yeah, and it kind of ends the same way as the first one, where the tall man like kind of breaks through a mirror and grabs Mike, which is how this movie starts.
Yeah. Love the line. The ending line, so good.
Well, I think Mike and Liz are in the back, like and like Reggie looks like he's dying, like he's gutted and like at the side of the road. You see him like his body on the road.
Yeah. And
then the tall man's there, and then like, this has to be a dream. And then what does he say?
He's like, no, it's not. And then just grabs him
and it just ends.
Yeah, I freaking love that, dude. I thought that was great. The tall man's amazing. The actor that plays him, such a good job,
Yeah, he's a great character. I think this movie's insanely creative. It just needs more depth. I don't even know if depth is the right word. It just needs more. It needs better dialogue, because the dialogue's insane. Yeah. It's insane. Like there's scenes where it's just like, I know where we need to go. It reminds me of Wet Hot American Summer, when it's like, next time you drive the van. That line, that's this movie in a nutshell.
It just needed it needed like a co-writer to come in and be like, let me fix the dialogue, like these 6-month gaps where they just go nowhere. Like, I'll just get rid of that.
So why are Liz and Mike connected? Why is Liz important? Like, those are the two things I really need to know. Like, why is Liz and Mike talking to each other telekinesis?
Yeah.
Why is Liz important? Why was her grandfather important? And what's the tall man's end game?
Yeah. Is there like a puppet master beyond this? Because why, if he's the leader, why is he so involved in everything? Like, you'd think he would have minions doing stuff for him for everything.
Right, yeah.
So, I want to see the third one. I've heard the next 3 are not very good, but I don't care. I want to see him now.
I kind of want to get to the 5th one eventually, man.
Yeah.
2016, I can't even imagine what that movie... I have no idea what that movie's about. I know Reggie's in it. This is a poster.
Yeah. And the tall man, he's in all of them.
Yeah, he must be 100 in that one.
He's that was like his last. I think it came out after he died, actually. He was very old.
Wow.
Yeah, because, dude, I'm watching him in this. I'm like, man, he looks old. And I'm like, dude, he lived for another, 30 years.
1979 was the first one. 2016 was the last one. And this guy looked old in the fucking first one.
No, and he looks... Dude, I saw an interview with him for, the 2016 DVD release, and he's just, he doesn't look like he's alive, dude. He's so old.
He's great, though.
I love him.
With his scrim, what's his...
Angus Scrim, I think?
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. One thing I will say, too, the guy who plays old Mike, I was watching this and I was like, you're going to figure this out. I told myself not to look him up. And I was like, I'm going to naturally figure this out. I know I've seen this actor somewhere else. I couldn't figure it out. I eventually gave in, hit the Google. It's fucking Roach from Point Break.
Oh. Like,
so he's one of the ex-presidents.
Yeah.
He's the one who kills Gary Busey in the airport. And then he gets shot up by Gary Busey too. And then he's brought into the plane. And then he's the one who dies like mid skydive when they like toss him out of the plane. Like, Buddy's like, "You're gonna live, man." And he's like, "Fuck you."
I do remember that.
So, and they throw him out of the plane, and you see him like just kind of like floating down, like dead. So it's like shit, man. He pulled the chute though somehow at least.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, I didn't recognize him at all. Really. I was like, oh, he's a working actor. I was like, I haven't seen him in anything.
You know how much I love Point Break. So it's like I know this guy. I know he's in something else. Yeah. And my brain I was like trying so hard to naturally figure it out. I couldn't. Couldn't.
Well, glad you did.
So I wonder why they didn't stick with him and they went back to young Mike.
Because people freaked out. People were.
You think that was it? Really?
No, it really was. People were like, the fans were livid, so they actually did. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Last thing, I just want to say, man, I don't know how they filmed this or why this character would ever want to do this. But, you know, they use like a flamethrower in like a lot of this movie. And Mike just like lights the fireplace with a flamethrower. And I was like, that is reckless. And I kind of wish Alchemy's like, hey, like, this is my uncle's house. Like, this is carpet too. Like, Jesus Christ, man. He's like, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a smoke stain on the ceiling now.
I mean, it's a flamethrower he's using inside to casually light a fireplace. And I was like, it's cool, but I'm like, this is fucking crazy. You
know what I want to see? I want to see a bald guy as Reggie and someone like Mike with a flamethrower costume with the, like, hazmat head thing. And on Halloween, if I ever see that at a bar, I'm paying for their drinks the rest of the night.
Or the tall man. What if you see a guy dressed as the tall man?
I mean, he has to be like a 6'5" at least.
The actor's not that tall in real life, but yeah, no, that'd be sick.
If I see a tall man, like a skinny, slender man kind of, I mean, honestly, tall man probably influenced some Slender Man.
Oh, I think so. So. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like this one. I think it was on par, if not even a little bit better than the first one, maybe. I don't know.
It's just, I don't remember any guns in the first one. This movie is just like, let's just like do the aliens treatment to it.
A lot of guns. Yeah.
Just, we want alien, now we're going aliens.
It was like Evil Dead 2. It was kind of like quadruple barrel shotguns, fucking chainsaws.
Houses blowing up, cars blowing up. 10 times the budget.
Oh, did you see too? Like there's ashes in a box that said Sam Raimi in it. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't see that at all.
Yeah, one of the guys is like emptying a box of ashes and it says Sam Raimi.
Nice.
And there was that one shot too, dude, where the ball is chasing them and they slam like 3 doors and the ball just keeps coming through the doors. I'm like, oh, that's right out of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
But anyways, good movie. If you like the first one, definitely check it out. And we'll cover the rest of the series eventually.
We're gonna do the whole series.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to 10 years from now get to the 5th one.
Oh my god, hopefully sooner than that. Well, Erik, you want to spin the wheel?
Yes.
Good music too. I like the music in this.
I'll say this too real quick. They hit it hard at the start of the movie until like midpoint, and then I didn't hear it as much at the end. I wonder if they're an edit and like, I cannot stand listening to this fucking song anymore. It's like it's that over and over again. It's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
I liked it.
I do like the theme. I really do.
Yeah, John Carpenter-esque.
Very, very. All right, ready? Spinning. Legend.
Oh, cool. We might have a guest found for this one. I know DJ Scoob said he was interested, so I'll see if he can do it. But if not, we'll be back next week with Legend. That'll be cool.
With Thomas Cruise.
Thomas Cruise and Timothy Curry. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Tom and Tim
and the girl from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Let's go. Love it.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening into our discussion today on Phantasm 2. And we will see you all next week with Legend.